Just stick with this for a moment. And I want to see, does she calm this girl down? Look at her. Look at her. Can they determine who is more dominant than the other? Look at her. Let's see who has the stamina before it gets to a fever pitch. Now my shepherd, she's got some skills. She's been learning from the big boys and girls. But does she have that innate genetic ability, not to learn? And I can answer that question now. She doesn't. This girl does. And that's why she gives up and goes into the run. So we'll wait for her to come out again. I just want to stick with this just a little bit. It's always the one that retreats, goes off, takes a break, wants to get water, that we know is less dominant. Something to remember. And of course we've got age. This girl is much younger than her. But this one is more genetic. Hers is genetic too, but the level of the genetic predisposition to be how they are is different. So if they both have a genetic predisposition to be assertive, dominant, and ultimately aggressive, what level is that? This dog may be a 4, and this dog may be a 6. You see? And that energy, that vibe that reverberates out, they connect to it. And so if we were to take all the dogs that are here, these two dogs are closer in personality than they are with any other dog. And you got to understand this stuff if you're going to work with aggression. I didn't give her a name. I just used sounds with her. It's more of an experiment. As I say, this is like a university here. We're looking at different things and different ways of working with dogs and changing from the old ways to the new ways, and what we thought was necessary, we find that now is insignificant. And what we found that was insignificant is very significant. And at least this is what I find with working with animals. And what you're seeing them do, they're just practicing their skills. This girl has a tendency to go for the neck, as you can see. They're homing in on their skills. That's what play is for. That's why wolves did it, because it took a pack to bring down prey, and each one had a certain way they did it. Some would go for the hock, some the neck, some the insides of the leg, the stomach, and if they all respond on prey in their particular ways, it's much easier to bring them down. And that's all this play is. It's for us to look at and enjoy, but never to participate this way with our dogs because of what it means. It does not mean what we think. That's the way the human being thinks about things. We call this a game. They're playing. Yes, they're playing, but it's just like, let's say if I were to play one-on-one basketball with someone, and yes, it's a game, but really, what are we really trying to determine? Who has the skills? Who's more dominant on that court? And once we find out, we never let that person forget that. But we can shake hands and walk away. They can do the same thing. But with them, it's more of survival. That's why it's not a game. Because everything they learn or that we teach or do with our dogs, they're going to use it towards what nature intended for it to be, survival. Only things that dogs really think about 24 hours a day is survival. Discipline, domination, hierarchy, life, death, submission, dominance. That's it. They will apply whatever they have learned towards that because they have a top and a bottom. They're hardwired for it. So we have to understand that when we start talking about this as a game. Okay? because this is survival. This is trying to figure out where they fit in the pack and with each other. It's most essential for survival. If they don't do it, then they don't know how to survive. They don't know how to live, so to speak. And that's why dogs that don't get a chance to do this early on and throughout their lives, they will not know how to control their temper, their energy, their desires. And animals are compulsive creatures. They were made that way. It makes them perfect in what it is that they're trying to do. But what I have found is that the more consequences a dog experiences, the less compulsive they are. If we were to look at this from a human's perspective, we are compulsive also. But the more conscious we become, the less compulsive we become. Same thing. We have to look at it for what it is. Whether you think it's right or wrong for dogs to do this, to growl, to bark, to bite, whether you think it's wrong or not, it really doesn't matter. What matters is to understand that that is what they do. And that we have to learn not to interfere with the level of how they do what they do. In other words, don't enhance it. Don't do this with your dog so that your dog feels that it can do that with someone else, is what I mean. Observe it, watch it, be the mediator, step in when it's wrong, just like we do with our kids, when it's too much, when they can't figure out who has the upper hand. That's our job. You notice how she went away again? She tuckered out, tired out, tapped out. So I know who's more dominant. So I know what to do with this girl, and I know how to deal with that girl when I'm dealing with other dogs. We'll continue.